Hey everyone, this is Professor Chris Pizzo. Welcome to the Masterclass. Today I'm going to be talking about PLR, Private Lesson Revolution, how to add an extra $10,000 to $25,000 or more per month to your martial arts business without dishonoring yourself, your art, or your lineage. And before we get started, just to make sure everyone's in the right place, let's talk about who this Masterclass is for. This is for professional martial artists. Maybe you're a school owner, maybe you've had a school in the past, maybe you're the head or assistant instructor at somebody else's school, maybe you give seminars, or maybe you already have some private training or group students. It doesn't really matter which, but a professional defined is someone who gets paid for their skill and knowledge. So if you've been paid to teach martial arts in any way, shape, or form, now or in the past, this is for you. That being said, this is also absolutely only for the ultra ambitious. What I'm going to show you today is not the easy way out of your crappy, meaningless day job or low-paying lifestyle. In fact, I can almost guarantee you that what I'm going to show you is in reality a heck of a lot more work than whatever you're doing right now to pay the bills. The difference, however, is that this is the fastest and most powerful way in to a meaningful, impactful, and yes, highly lucrative lifestyle teaching martial arts. In other words, if you're sick and tired of not being and living at your absolute best, and at this point of the game you are willing to try anything to fix it so you can level up your life, personally, professionally, and financially, as a professional martial arts instructor, then this is for you. And then number 3, you must truly want to help others through martial arts. This is not a McDojo money grab. You need to have 1,000% absolute conviction and certainty that your martial arts and life knowledge, wisdom, and experience can truly help others. And that by truly serving others through martial arts is not only your career path, it's your God-honest true calling in life. So if you're good to go on all that, then yeah, you're in the right place and this is absolutely for you. So in this masterclass, I'm going to show you how to add 5 to 10 high-paying private students to your martial arts business every month, and why this is the key to making your business ultra successful. I'm going to show you why offering free lessons or free trials is the absolute worst way to get students, and how to get and keep great students who pay you up front and in full. We're going to talk about the secret to a 90 to 100% student retention rate, and how to make sure your students stick with you for the long haul. Why you can charge 5 to 10 times more than anyone else in your area, and how to position yourself as the highest paid instructor in your town. Of course, why private lessons and not group classes should be the backbone of your business, and how to use this to drive more cash flow into your business than anything else you've ever tried. And again, how to do all this without dishonoring yourself, your art, or your lineage. Therefore, my promise to you for this masterclass training is to give you the step-by-step strategy to add that extra $10,000 to $25,000 per month or more to your martial arts business. So let's start by establishing a few house rules. Number 1, there is no get rich quick here. We're going to be discussing some pretty powerful leverage principles, but this is about getting paid appropriately for the value you have the ability to deliver. What that means is that you need to have both martial arts and life wisdom to share. People can get martial arts anywhere these days. What makes you special and able to charge premium prices is not just what you know martially, but also how you've successfully applied that knowledge to the different areas of your life. Number 2, on that note, this is also not some sort of do nothing, get paid magic. You will need to think, you will need to work, and of course you will need to teach. This is by far the most fun and lucrative way to leverage your martial arts knowledge into an extraordinary income, but it's still a lot of work. And that means that if you haven't already built some serious grit and hustle muscle over the course of your life, then this is absolutely not for you. 3, no reality-based self-defense or fitness instructors. On that, so listen, it's absolutely fine if you're a traditional or combat sport-based martial artist and you also have reality-based self-defense or fitness training experience. But the truth of the matter is the high-end clients that pay $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 plus for private lessons, They do not want street-level self-defense, and they certainly do not want just fitness training or cardio kickboxing kind of silliness, right? And yes, we're going to talk about all that in detail a little later on. Number 4, please, no nut jobs. Real martial artists only. I've already talked about in detail whom this is for, but just in case, one more time, what I'm showing you today is for real professional level martial artists only, meaning that you have paid your dues, you have become an instructor by training under another experienced teacher, and you've achieved some sort of advanced rank in an established style. I mean, you don't necessarily need to be a black belt, but listen, no made-up styles, no mail-order belts, no cosmic combat knowledge having been beamed down from outer space. Again, real martial artists of established styles only. And then number 5, listen, neither my nor my PLR clients' results are typical. We work hard, we take command like the warriors we are, and we earn the results I'm going to share with you. I mean, I'm going to give you everything you need to 100% make this become a reality, but just like in the dojo and on the mats, ultimately your success or your lack thereof is up to the dedication and discipline you put into it. All right, let's get to the good stuff. Does this sound like you? Are you sick and tired of fighting to get the right students in the door, keep them coming back, decline payments, broken contracts, seasonal drop-offs, and dealing with competitors undercutting your prices and giving away black belts like candy? Are you just done with wasting time on free trials, birthday parties, public school talks, parking lot demonstrations, drop boxes, dumbed-down fitness programs, and other low-value, low-return student acquisition garbage that our industry organizations and associations have been spewing out for years? Are you exhausted testing and trying flash-in-the-pan ideas and empty promises of website designers, video agencies, and gym consultants that are all promising to fill your school with high-value new members, but only wind up sending cheap-ass looky-loos and no-shows? Are you tired of personally just making ends meet, of not being seen as a valuable professional leader in your community, and not making the impact and income you deserve at this point of your life teaching martial arts? And do you feel like you're slaving away, teaching for peanuts, but you just don't know how to leverage your martial arts knowledge into maximum income? So here's the real problem. The real problem is that you haven't fully embraced the way of the warrior. You know, every martial arts instructor talks a good game about being or living as a samurai, but very, very few actually make the full, honest transition into serving others at the highest possible level. And don't worry, listen, I'm going to show you exactly why and how it's actually not your fault. But for now, know this. Once you fully follow the way, you'll finally wake up and hop out of bed each morning happy, excited, and super motivated to, quote, go to work. You will gain the freedom to actually do what you love for a living and the pride that comes with improving lives every single day. You'll be able to generate the type of income usually only reserved for doctors or lawyers, and therefore be able to secure you and your family's financial future. You will be recognized by your family, your peers, your neighbors, and some of the most powerful people in your geographic area as the go-to solution for what you teach. You'll realize that there are an amazing number of people right in your backyard that are happy to pay upwards of $5,000 for you just to share your knowledge with them, which ultimately means that you'll have more time and more money to enjoy your life, your family, and your continued dedication to mastering your art. Now, before we go too much further, let me just take 2 seconds to introduce myself so you know who I am and why the heck you should actually listen to me. My name is Professor Chris Pizzo. I have several black belts in different martial arts, but I spend most of my time training and teaching as a second-degree black belt in both judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. During my career, I've built, ran, and sold both a multi-million-dollar martial arts publishing business and a number of highly successful martial arts schools. But what's most important for you is that back in 2013, I decided that I would stop actively selling my martial knowledge for low prices. And instead, I would start serving those that most needed my help by offering premium-priced private and small group martial arts packages at $3,000 to $5,000 plus. So why make that kind of change? What drove me to kick conventional wisdom and practice to the curb once and for all? Well, it's pretty simple. It was my family. After a few years of running my business and my schools, I realized that the entire martial arts industry was broken. We were all working way too hard and making far too little to justify all that time spent away from our kids, our families, and our loved ones. And year after year, we were increasingly having to deal with flighty, recreational students who were bringing very little commitment and work ethic to their training. But when I reached out to brainstorm with all the other top instructors and school owners I had befriended and worked with over the years, I found out none of them had the answer either. Every single one of them were stressed to the gills over getting new quality students in every month, retaining those students to maintain positive cash flow, and earning enough personal income every month just to survive. Here's what I also found out. As I dug deeper and talked to more and more old-time school owners, I also discovered that there was a handful of martial arts instructors out there making well over six figures without any of the headaches or challenges all of us typically struggle with. And once I understood the what and why of what they were doing from both a business and historical perspective, and started replicating and using those same methods, it became an extremely simple and straightforward matter to add first $5,000, then $10,000, then $15,000, then $25,000 every single month in pure profit to my martial arts business. Then when I shared it with my other instructor friends, colleagues, and clients, they all got the same amazing, and even in a few cases, even better results. And that's what we're doing here today. I'm going to walk you through exactly what we found out and what those other hyper-successful martial artists knew that you don't. Okay, so let's start with a big mental shift you have to make right now if you ever truly want to succeed at the highest level in our industry. You are more powerful than you know. The reason that holds most martial artists back from actually attracting and enrolling higher-end students is that they have been systematically conditioned to believe that they are not worth it. In our 5,000-year-old industry, this is a completely new issue that only appeared just about 60 to 70 years ago. History before then clearly shows that martial arts instructors have not only always been valued members of the royal court, the right-hand confidants and advisors of leaders and kings, and respected teachers to the next generation of nobility, but that because of the impact and importance of their direct guidance, martial arts instructors pre-1950 were able to amass significant amounts of wealth, power, and influence over the course of their lives. So what the heck happened? What happened was that mass media turned what was once considered a way of life into that recreational activity. With the absolute flood of martial arts movies and TV shows in the 70s and 80s, interest boomed. The physical, mental, and spiritual benefits of long-term studying and training were all cast aside for the easy money of learning something cool. And multiple generations of delusional $79 a month plus free uniform brat belts and minimally skilled adults were churned out like an assembly line. Most of our instructors were the exception to that rule in what and how they taught us, but because they were not savvy businessmen, they simply followed that McDojo pricing model and rode the wave with everyone else as long as they could. Until the turn of the 21st century, when the internet put the final nail in our industry's coffin, letting viral street fight posts, UFC knockouts, and free YouTube instruction paint our knowledge as silly, barbaric, or worthless. So what does that mean for us today? Did kicking, punching, grappling, and weapon skills suddenly become useless in modern times? Of course not. In fact, FBI statistics clearly show that violent crime rates have and continue to steadily increase year after year. So then, did knowing how to instill confidence, persistence, discipline, physical health, mental acuity, and spiritual growth fall out of style? No, quite the opposite there as well. Because of present-day mass media's direct negative effects on focus, wellness, and emotional stability, those long-term benefits of learning martial arts are actually needed more than ever before. But the simple fact is that all of modern society doesn't even remember that martial arts holds the key to those very physical, mental, and spiritual answers everyone is currently searching for. So do you understand what that really means? It means that as a professional martial artist, you have been gifted with the answer to almost all of modern society's major ills and problems. What you know how to do and how you help others to overcome obstacles, conquer challenges, and survive hardships means you are in actuality the most valuable service professional on the planet right now. But because today's martial arts professionals all grew up around the easy money activity McDojo business model, we never learned how to properly frame and articulate that powerful value to others. And it's that precise reason why you and almost every other professional martial artist continue to struggle financially. This is Sensei Phil Oakes. Phil was stuck working in the family carpet installation business. It paid the bills, but he hated getting up every single day to do it. He had a lifetime of old school Shotokan karate training, had assisted in teaching classes for years, and had even taught a handful of private lessons before. But because the association and school he was a part of still only ran the struggling modern business model, he didn't think making six figures as a martial arts instructor was even possible. Until we got him teaching high-end private lessons. Most guys we work with pick up their first high-end client after much of the groundwork I'm going to show you during the rest of today's class is laid out. But Phil took what he and I isolated as his greatest power to share through martial arts and wound up signing his first $5,000 private lesson client in 14 days. It sounds crazy, I know, but that's the power of fully understanding how you can really help people at the highest possible level through martial arts. Now Phil takes on 2 to 3 new high-end clients per month, keeps the clients he likes best on a $1,500 monthly retainer, and has been pulling in about $15,000 to $20,000 a month like clockwork. Heck, he even used the cash he made and the plan we constructed together to buy out the karate school where he trained and then turn that into another six-figure stream of income through small and large group instruction. So how do you do what Phil did once you understand and embrace your own excellence? Shift number 2. You follow the original model of martial arts instruction. Listen, the concept of the poor yet happy martial arts master is complete Hollywood bullshit. Those historical teachers who retreated to solitary mountaintops or caves or gave up their worldly possessions or taught the impoverished, they all did so by choice, not by need. It was something they wanted to do, not relegated to it because they couldn't figure it all out financially. This is so critical for you to understand and wrap your head around. Most people in life feel that wealth can only be attained through lying, cheating, and stealing because they have failed at everything they could think of and therefore have become angry, resentful, and bitter at those displaying the evidence of the success they desire. They did not do or sacrifice what was needed, and so they and the media concoct these stories of justification and excuses so they can place the blame on outside forces or environments instead of onto themselves. If there's anything martial arts teachers understood pre-1950 is that you can never become poor enough yourself to help the needy thrive. It is only in your prosperity that you have anything to offer anyone. In other words, you first have to make it before you can make it matter. So here's how they structured their martial arts schools, their student base, and their learning environments to maximize both their impact and their income so they had the best of both worlds. They began by giving ultra-focused private lessons on a consistent basis to society's affluent, nobles, kings, warlords, wealthy merchants, etc. In today's world, that translates to politicians, celebrities, executives, business owners, entrepreneurs, doctors, lawyers, etc. So why? Why start at the top of the financial food chain? Well, first and foremost, obviously, is economics. People with money can afford to pay you more, but it's actually more than that. This is also where the most direct financial value transfer for your knowledge can be found. Think about this. How much more directly valuable is it for a surgeon to learn how to keep calm under intense pressure? How much more directly valuable is it for an attorney or a politician that is working long hours to keep themselves physically healthy and mentally sharp? How much more directly valuable is it for an executive or business owner to gain that unshakable self-confidence and killer instinct? Those are all problems that are directly solved by learning martial arts. So listen, again, I get it that all people from every walk of life can use those same skills, but the affluent use those skills every single day. That's what makes the knowledge transfer so valuable. Does that make sense? Good. Because once you make privately teaching the affluent the backbone of your martial arts business, everything else falls directly into place. Not only are your baseline financial needs exceeded with just a handful of these high-end clients, but they also refer like crazy, and you quickly become the go-to mentor for their elite friends and colleagues because you are seen as that trusted expert. You're invited to exclusive events, holiday parties, and training with you becomes somewhat of a status symbol for the elite in your area. And yes, it's actually pretty darn cool. So next in the original model was small group lessons for your private clients' family, aides, and allies. Basically your clients' kids, their most valuable employees, or their staff. These are second level, but still high value, ultra committed students that might not yet use your knowledge today, but are preparing for success and will 100% need the value of what you teach soon enough. So whether this is at their location or at yours, grouping these segments into small groups of 4 to 8 people gives you maximum financial leverage for your time, and it further positions you as that ultra valuable resource and advisor for your private clients. Super powerful. And then finally, you have your large group program, your school, a place where others come to learn how to do what you do, and not just to learn martial arts, but to learn the underlying principles of a vocation, career skills that puts them on the same successful financial path you have taken. Therefore, again, direct high financial value to what would have been called your apprentices. So here's how this actually works in modern practice. This is Gracie Baja Irvine. At 20,000 square feet and a full-time staff of 10, it is the largest Brazilian jiu-jitsu school in the world and headquarters to the 300-plus school Gracie Baja franchise. Not long after moving my family to California, Gracie Baja's CFO called me up in a panic that the headquarters was deep in the red, leaking out $15,000 to $20,000 each and every month and on its last legs. Afraid that the entire system would fail if the headquarters did, they begged me to buy, fix, and save it as fast as possible. So the first thing I did was attract and enroll every entrepreneur and executive in the area into one of my ultra high-end private lesson programs. Charging $500 an hour, I not only taught them the art, but also how to apply it to get in peak physical condition and reduce their overwhelming and ever-present work anxiety. That alone took care of my family's financial needs and brought the headquarters back to just about break even. Next, I enrolled my clients' wives, their children, and all their employees into specific, results-oriented, at $3,500 paid in full and upfront small group classes. This not only eliminated all retention problems and put us firmly back in the black, but it also allowed me to pay the staff a very good salary and provide them with full health benefits. Finally, now because of the school's financial and professional success, we were able to effectively advertise and attract serious martial artists as general students and charge them appropriately as someplace teaching a valuable career skills, which was $2,800 for the year, and again, no retention problems. So, funny enough, I was having such a great and profitable time teaching privately that I continued to expand my high-end lesson offerings and no longer wanted to manage the big school. So ultimately, I decided to gift the headquarters back to the franchise owner. And like I said, first you need to make it, then you can make it matter. So here's another example from my client, Dr. Brian Stoops. Brian had been a long-time Filipino martial arts, Silat, Jeet Kune Do school owner out here in California, but like most school owners, he couldn't make it work to the financial level needed to give up his job and benefits as an educational administrator. Not too long ago, Brian was offered a dean's position at a charter school in New York City. So with a heavy heart, he shut down his martial arts school out here and moved his family across the entire country just for the job. Now, he wound up loving New York, but he missed teaching martial arts. And not willing to suffer another decade of kind of ecking it out like he did all those years over here in California, he came on as a client and literally he just knocked it out of the park. First, we isolated Brian's true value as a martial artist and helped him to create a $5,000 8-week private lesson program and attract and enroll career-focused executives looking for a serious command presence upgrade. Next, Brian created a small $3,500 a year training group for kids who had trouble focusing on tasks. And then finally, Brian opened a new location and began teaching very high-level martial artists, again, and like we've been talking about, to people interested in that as a career path. But here's the best part. When most people hear everything Brian did, they think that it took years. And don't get me wrong, I mean, seriously, Brian's a worker. But just by following the process that we've been talking about, we were able to help him get all of that set up and rocking in just his first 6 weeks. In fact, he wasn't even halfway through our program when he decided to quit his day job. That's what this original model does. Okay, let's move on to the all-important shift number 3, because right now you're probably like, yeah, Chris, that's all well and good, but I still don't quite understand how martial arts fits into those high-end private programs that you're talking about. Shift number 3. Stop teaching tactics and start providing transformation. So guys, this is the big aha moment. If you have not started taking notes yet, this is the time to do so. So back when I was doing the self-defense publishing thing in the early 2000s, I was brought in to speak as the marketing secret weapon for NATMA, the National Association of Professional Martial Artists. When I got off stage, a really nice martial arts school owner offered to take me to dinner if I'd allow him to pick my brain for a bit. And listen, I'm never one to pass up a free meal or talk martial arts business. So we had a great dinner, but we had an even better and eye-opening conversation. It turns out he was a huge history buff, and really everything I had spoke about on stage really resonated with him. But what he taught me was that the martial arts industry had gone through the same difficulties we've been talking about back in the late 1800s. With the Far East modernizing itself through open trade with the West, the outlawing of carrying weapons, and the warrior caste fading away, martial arts almost died. Jigoro Kano, doctor of education and founder of judo, writes about this in his book Mind Over Muscle. And in an effort to preserve the arts into the future, Dr. Kano also speaks about how he and his contemporaries concluded martial arts must evolve. Turns out, there are 3 value levels of martial arts, which is much like we discussed back in shift number 1. What you know and how you teach someone to apply it to their everyday life has either almost infinitely high or severely limited value. So let's take a look at these 3 different levels. The lowest value of martial arts are the tactical movements, literally the techniques as they apply to combat. The bazillion punches, kicks, locks, throws, chokes, whatever we all spend our lives attempting to master are actually the least valuable thing about martial arts. I know it sounds crazy when you first hear it, but it makes perfect sense when you put it into perspective. Again, statistics do show that most people will be in at least one violent altercation or attack in their lifetime. However, those same statistics also show that physical crimes are almost never committed against those who look, act, walk, or carry themselves with confidence or exhibit situational awareness. So in essence, Mr. Miyagi was right. The whole reason to learn to fight was so you never have to. And that reminds me of another funny story. You know, every week for my clients, I hold something called office hours, and that's where we video conference together and directly work on their martial arts schools and businesses. And I was helping one school owner isolate his most valuable knowledge to market. And when I asked, he told me that he can make sure anyone can defend themselves against being attacked in the street. And I said, wow, that's really cool. Do you live in a high crime area? And he took a moment and he laughed and he said, actually, I live in one of the safest cities in the entire United States. I was like, well, you can see why you're having such problems getting students. And of course, we then moved them up the value scale that we've been talking about right now. But does that make sense? I mean, obviously we need to teach people the moves. Obviously we need to drill and practice the techniques. But the overall intent of those techniques, how you frame the all-important why you need to learn them, that's what dictates their true value. And it's why straight-up tactical self-defense seminars rarely have anyone actually show up. They almost never turn attendees into long-term students and usually can only be sold for like 30 to 40, 50 bucks, right? So that now brings us to level 2, which is experiential. This is where most career martial arts instructors operate. And when you think of a successful school, this is what you typically see, which is a very, very personable instructor teaching level 1 tactical techniques, but also doing their best to provide a completely removed from normal level 2 experience for their students. Meaning that the minute the student walks through the door, their outside world melts away and they are fully immersed in an experience unlike their everyday life. The greater the immersion in that experience, the greater the value. And it doesn't matter if you have them step into a cage or into feudal Japan. The more you bend their reality, the more you bring value into their mind. What people continually pay for in those level 2 value experiences is specifically that change of focus. Listen, we all think, feel, and attract what we think, feel, and attract most. And since people spend most of their day living boring, humdrum lives, that's typically all they get. By you providing an experience that shifts student focus onto something enjoyably different and purposeful, it actually changes the trajectory of their life. Retention problems arise only when either you break that enjoyment or something outside offers an even more enjoyable or exciting focus. And that's why martial arts schools empty out for sports season and summer vacations. There's a new experience that appears more pleasurable and exciting. So, if you teach level 1 tactical techniques in a level 2 experience environment, then you can most certainly be charging $150 to $250 a month. But to maintain that acceptable retention rate, you always need to make sure that the experience you provide is more stimulating, more engaging, and more enjoyable than any other option in their life. And that's obviously really tough to sustain and sometimes, honestly, completely out of your control. So how do you fix all this? How do you completely eliminate all retention and billing problems? How do you add another $10,000 to $25,000 in profit every month? How do you scale small group lessons to the high 6 or even 7-figure mark? How do you attract the affluent in your community and ethically charge and get $300 to $500 an hour teaching private martial arts lessons? Welcome to level 3, transformational martial arts. Seriously, think of all the people you've helped in your life as a professional martial artist. How many people have you guided? Have you mentored? Have you advised? Have you cared for? Have you inspired? How many lives have you changed? How many people have you transformed? When you shift your focus away from what and where you teach and purely onto the value of the result you can deliver, the entire game changes. Again, the best way to explain this is just through example. So this is Sensei Dennis Mahoney from Shinobi Martial Arts up in New Hampshire. Not only is Dennis one of Stephen K. Hayes', who's the first American ninja, not only is Dennis one of his top guys, but he also brought tons of corporate business and sales experience to his school. He'd invested heavily in trying every book, course, consulting, web marketing, and ad service in our industry. And none of it worked. None. Not the 80s model, not the corporate stuff, not the newfangled ideas, not the internet marketing guru crap, and certainly not the pay-per lead web and ad guys who are really only good at driving in no-shows, tire kickers, and time wasters. By the time someone pointed him in our direction, there was literally no more time to waste. Dennis had 30 days to turn things around, or he would probably have to close his doors for good. So we immediately shifted Dennis from delivering and selling tactics and experience right into providing transformation. The first thing we did was swap out all his marketing and messaging. And this is going to help all of you as well. If you were a complete martial arts newbie, which of these do you think you'd be more likely to respond to? Learn martial arts or become a ninja? That's the power of transformational results. It speaks to the actual outcome of what a prospect really wants to happen. So we'll come back to Dennis in a minute, but I really want to hammer this home for you guys now so you can start to make this all-important change in your business today. Okay, so again, which is more powerful? Learn karate or become a human weapon? Learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or become a champion? Which do you think you can charge more for? Learn Kung Fu or become an action star? Learn Taekwondo or become a straight-A student? Learn MMA or become a badass? Learn Krav Maga or become a super soldier? I told you want to take notes here, right? This is all about framing and articulating the transformation your prospective students want for themselves. It's not about you. It's not about what you teach. And it's not about the experience you provide. It's only about who someone wants to become. Now, of course, you can't just overpromise. You also have to deliver. But because their transformational outcome is so front and center, laser focused, the economic leverage you have is just crazy, which allows you to ethically charge maximum dollars for your help. And I say ethically because what this does is actually give you all the time and financial freedom to spend your time teaching what is needed to actually help your student transform into who they really want to be. Does that make sense? Again, this is not about fleecing people or ripping people off or charging more for what you're already doing. This is about getting paid what you're truly worth so you can help others become the best, highest version that they want for themselves. So let's go back to Dennis and what this all looks like in practice. So we found out that every month there were 5 to 10 people in his area seriously interested in becoming ninjas for whatever reason. That allowed Dennis to revamp his curriculum and pricing to be focused on that more serious transformational student. Went from around $120 a month up to $3,500 for the year all up front. So 100% committed students every month? Check. Retention issues solved? Check. Cash flow problems gone? Check. And then finally, Dennis told me that he really loved teaching kids, but he hated dealing with parents treating him like a glorified babysitter. So when I asked him to kind of reframe what he had done for the kids in his community over the years in that transformational outcome, something absolutely amazing just came out. Dennis had also been a Division I football player in college and had started learning martial arts to help him stay injury-free on the field. He told me passing that on to his kids' program was the biggest, most powerful transformational outcome that he was proud of. Kids who went through Dennis's programs became dominant varsity athletes in high school and never got hurt. It's why so many of them actually received scholarships to school. Boom. Dennis's ninja sports program was born. Suddenly, every parent in the area who wanted their child to become an awesome athlete and stay safe on the field started lining up outside his door, $5,000 in hand for 10 one-hour private lessons with Dennis. And what did he teach them? A specifically designed transformational curriculum consisting of martial arts-based rolls, falls, evasions, and movement predictions, all pulled from his ninjutsu training. Is all this starting to click? Good, because I know that's a lot of information. So let's take a break and do a quick recap to make sure you fully understand what you need to do. First, you need to stop teaching advertising and marketing like everyone else in town. You are a unique, powerful, and knowledgeable professional that can truly help others become the best version of themselves. You need to stand in that fully and at all times. Second, you need to follow the original model of martial arts instruction. Attract high-level private clients for immediate personal income, and then conduct segmented and ultra-focused small and large group programs to maximize your business income and your influence. And then 3, you need to stop limiting and devaluing yourself by teaching only level 1 tactical and level 2 experiential martial arts. You need to migrate fully into level 3 transformational, start charging premium prices, then see both your income and your impact soar. Now that you have the structure, let's look very quickly at how to put this into practice right now. Shift number 4. What's in it for me, marketing and sales? So we touched on this a little before. I mean, chances are right now, your marketing and your sales presentation are all about you and your art. who you are, your background, your experience, your commitment, what you teach, why this is important to you, and what you can do for them. You. Let me tell you a secret. Nobody cares about you. They don't care about who you are. They don't care about what you've done. They don't even care what you actually know. The only thing they care about is themselves. What am I going to get out of this? Why is this important to me? Why do I want to do this? How is this going to get me to where I want to be? And that's where WIFM, What's in it for me, marketing and sales come in. So let's start with attracting some new higher end students. Doesn't actually matter where you run your ads or marketing pieces these days. I mean, right now, Facebook and Instagram are kind of hot. A few years ago, it was banner ads in Google. Before that, of course, TV and newspapers. But truth be told, they all work when you do what I'm going to show you right now. I mean, heck, even old school flyers and postcards work like gangbusters when you get this right. So all your ads, no matter where you put them, just need to follow this simple and time-tested formula. The first thing you need to do is you need to state the problem with a what's in it for me question. Want to learn authentic Gracie Jiu-Jitsu without moving to Brazil? Want to increase your child's focus without medication? Want to get the body of a fighter without the fight? Want to become the toughest guy in the room without looking like a steroid-induced meathead? You enter the conversation they are already having inside their own head so you can connect and get their attention. Like we talked about before, the more you can connect all this to the who they want to become, then the better. Okay, next. You need to agitate the problem with a what's in it for me kind of description or blurb. Ever since you first heard about ninjas, you've been obsessed. The ability to turn invisible, move silently, fight and win against multiple attackers, and become as flexible and strong as a panther is all you've ever thought about since. Ever since you saw your first UFC fight, you've been obsessed. The ability to physically, mentally, and martially dominate another human being is all you've ever thought about since. Ever since your child got that D, you've been obsessed. The ability to fully focus and achieve to their greatest ability is all you've ever thought about since. Again, try your best to connect it to that higher self they really want to become. And then finally, just solve the problem with a what's in it for me call to action. If that's what you want, call or click here now. And then you just send them to your cell phone or you have them fill out a contact form on your website. And I mean, believe it or not, it's not much more complicated than that. And then when you contact them or they come in, forget about all the free trial crap. Just sit them down and sell them using what's in it for me as well. Them, hi. You, great to see you. What can I do for you? Them, we were maybe interested in X. You, perfect. Why do you want to X? And that's it. By asking them what they want and why they want it, they will be forced fully into telling you what's in it for them, and on their own, creating the emotional reasons and logical justification to sign up. Seriously, guys, if you only do those two things, what's in it for me, problem, agitate, solve in your ads, and what's in it for me, what and why in your sales conversation, you don't have to make any other changes and you will be able to attract, enroll, and charge more than every other martial arts business in town on that level 1 tactical and level 2 experiential level. Now, the big money, big impact transformational model works this way as well, but with one more major shift. Shift number 5. You must walk the walk and not just talk the talk. Listen, if you want to truly help people at the transformational level, if you want to earn $5,000 a pop for just 8 to 12 private lessons, then you have to change. You have to evolve. As a teacher, as a business owner, as a person, and as a martial artist. You cannot fake this. You just cannot trick people into this. Life is an absolute mirror. And those seeking success are only attracted and influenced by those also seeking success. I mean, geez, you know this better than anyone as a martial artist. Your teacher was on the same exact journey as you were. They were just a few steps ahead. It's why sensei literally translated means one who comes before. Listen, you were made to do this, but you need to keep on learning and moving forward. So where do you begin? Well, it's just like when you were a white belt. You need to seek out, you need to find the best teachers and mentors and pay whatever it takes to work with and learn from them. Because if you want others to invest in you, then you need to continually invest in your own training and your own education to become the absolute best version of yourself. It's really that simple. And here's a great example of what I'm talking about. This is Sergeant First Class Retired Ian Puchek. Career Army veteran, master martial artist, school owner, father, husband, all-around awesome guy. Ian could have just looked back at his experiences in life and said, you know what, I'm good enough. But he didn't. His martial arts business was already good, but he felt something big was missing, and that personally, professionally, and financially, he could offer much, much more. So when he heard about how we help martial artists develop level 3 transformational programs, he got on board immediately. And not only did Sergeant Ian pick up his first $5,000 private lesson client in only a couple weeks, but his transformational martial arts program, PTS Free, which helps veterans and first responders conquer traumatic stress, is now being looked at by Walter Reed National Military Medical Center as their official treatment solution. And yes, everyone, the appropriate response to that is definitely holy freaking shit. So let's recap. Today I promise to show you how to add 5 to 10 high-paying private students to your martial arts business every month, and why this is the key to making your business ultra successful. Why offering free lessons or free trials is the absolute worst way to get students, and how to get and keep great students who pay you upfront and in full. The secret to a 90 to 100% student retention rate, and how to make your students stick with you for the long haul. Why you can charge 5 to 10 times more than anyone else in your area and position yourself as the highest paid instructor in your town. Why private lessons and not group classes should be the backbone of your business, and how to use this to drive more cash flow into your business than anything else you've tried. And yes, how to do all that without dishonoring yourself, your art, or your lineage. And obviously we covered each and every one of these, which means you can do this. There are people out there literally praying for your help right now. They might be just down the street. They might be a few miles or a few towns away. It really doesn't matter. The money, the commitment, and the transformation itself is well worth figuring out how to track them down and serve them to your best ability. It's clean, it's simple, and it makes your life meaningful and absolutely freaking awesome. But again, here's what you need to do it. 1, you need to fully stand in your power and know you can absolutely serve others better than you currently are. 2, you need to embrace the original architecture of our industry and restructure your business back to what actually works. 3, you need to change how and who you teach and what you charge based on your now understanding of the 3 levels of martial arts valuation. 4, you need to frame and articulate every single marketing, advertising, and sales initiative using the What's in It for Me protocol. And 5, you need to invest in all aspects of being the best possible version of yourself as a professional martial artist if you want others to invest in you. These 5 shifts alone are enough to give you an immediate and significant profit boost in your martial arts business. And now you have a choice. You can take everything I just showed you and just forget about it. You can continue to be frustrated and second guess yourself that all the time, money, and effort you put into your martial education is really just feeding a low-value recreational activity or personal hobby. You can continue to struggle financially, grinding it out at a job you hate, or be frustrated running that business that takes more than it gives. And you can continue to wait and hope for the day that will set you free to follow your true calling and give you that life, the students, the business, and the income you really want. Or if you want to start making the kind of money you deserve now and do so honorably by transforming others, by sharing what you love and know how to do. If you want to finally establish yourself as that valuable leader, that mentor, and that protector of your community, just as you've been trained to be. If you want to cut to the chase and just start attracting, enrolling, and serving those that want and are happy to pay $5,000 or more for transformational private lessons with you immediately. If that's what you want, then here's what I have for you. My team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak to you personally about how you can add high-value, high-profit, private transformational lessons to your martial arts business starting today. Whatever you think your business challenges are, We've seen them all, and we know how to overcome every single one of them. On your session, we're going to work with you directly and brainstorm and craft a step-by-step plan to construct and market your own high-ticket, transformational private and group programs capable of bringing in an additional $10,000 to $25,000 plus per month in profit as little as 4 to 6 weeks from right now. The cost for this call is absolutely free. However, to qualify for it, listen, you must be a professional martial artist or school owner. I mean, it doesn't matter if you just recently got started or you've been teaching for years, but you must have some sort of instructional experience under your belt. 2, you are already trying to make it. Again, it doesn't matter whether you're already awesome at it or sucking wind, but think of this like pouring gas on a fire, meaning I need you to be actively trying your best to make things work and not just sitting there twirling your thumbs waiting for a miracle to happen. And 3, you must be highly coachable. You must show up without any ego, and you must be able to follow step-by-step instructions. I mean, after all, if you don't actually listen and implement the stuff we give you, what's the point? If that's you, then yes, we'd love to talk to you, and I invite you to book a planning session using the link below this video. And if you're wondering why we're willing to get on the phone and work with a total stranger like this, well, it's our mission to help martial artists reclaim their rightful place in society. We love helping those just like us who truly want to help others and teach to the highest ability and, of course, earn extraordinary incomes doing what they love. And then plus, we also know that you might want our help to actually implement and execute on everything we've talked about today. And if that's the case, cool. We can discuss it and see if it's a good fit for both of us. If not, honestly, that's fine too. So go ahead and either click the link below this video, or if you can't see the button for some reason, just go directly to wayofthewarrior.org/apply. There you'll see a simple scheduling page. Spaces are limited because obviously we have to prioritize our own high-end clients, but do find a time that works for you. And after you do that, you're going to be taken to a quick questionnaire with several general questions for you to answer. And that's just so we can get to know you and your business a bit more and, of course, do some market research for you before our call. And that's it. We'll connect at your scheduled time. We'll reverse engineer your income and professional goals as a martial artist. We'll plan it all out and see if this is a good fit to get you wherever it is you want to go. We have yet to talk to a martial artist that we just don't love meeting and helping. And yeah, you're going to come away from our time together with an actionable plan and complete clarity. And listen, I promise you, it will be the most eye-opening, valuable, and seriously most fun time you could ever spend working on your martial arts business. So go ahead, either click the link below or head on over directly to wayofthewarrior.org/apply, find a time that works for you, and we'll do this together. So go ahead and schedule it now, and we'll talk soon. Bye, everyone.